What's good, YouTube? My name is Mary Kay, and welcome to Mary Kay Confidential. Today's video is a part of a three-part series all about starter locks. Part 1 is about what you should do to your hair in preparation for locks. Part 2 is all about the day of starting your locks, and part 3 is all about what to expect during that first month after you started your locks. So if any of those topics interest you, please stay tuned, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to part 1 of this three-part series. Today's video is all about what to do to your hair in preparation for your locks. You've been thinking about it, you've made your decision, you maybe even tried faux locks to see what you may look like with locks, and now you're ready. But what should you be doing before you get your locks? Well, first things first, you need to check the condition of your hair. You may need a trim. Go ahead and take care of that trim prior to starting your locks. If your hair tends to be dry, I would suggest deep conditioning your hair weekly for 2 to 6 weeks before you start your locks. I personally deep conditioned my hair once a week for an entire month before I started my locks to make sure that my hair was in tip-top condition before I started my locks. Tip number 2, make sure you know what you want your locks to look like. This includes the type of locks, the size of the locks, and even the parting. There are so many types of locks. You have traditional comb coils. You can start your locks with 2-strand twists. There's even sister locks, micro locks, braid locks, and interlocking. There's so many different options of how to start your locks. So you want to know which one that you're most interested in before you start the process. You also want to know the size of the locks that you want. For instance, if you want a very small lock, then you may want to go with the braid locks, the micro locks, or the sister locks. You may want a nice medium size, not too small, not too big, or medium, or even if you're interested in having very thick locks, you may want them to be very large. But you need to know what type of locks you want your final outcome to resemble. You even want to know what type of parting that you want. I know that's probably not the first thing on your mind, but that is important if you want to be completely satisfied with your locks. There are so many different ways that the hair can be parted. The 2 most traditional ways would be a C-part or a brick or square part. But there's also triangle parting, diamond parting, and even freeform, freestyle parting, whereas you're not necessarily going in a certain pattern. Tip number 3, choose your loctician wisely. Do not go out and just pick anyone without doing your proper research. Does this person have pictures where you can see their past work? Do they have a website or maybe an Instagram where you can see comments from their previous customers? Also, does this loctician offer consultations? You may want to speak with them ahead of time to know what you're getting yourself into. What kind of products does the loctician use? You yourself may want to only use rose water and oil to start your locks. You may not want gel in your hair, but if that's all that loctician uses, then you may want to ask, can you opt for the rose water and oil, or do they only strictly use the gel? In that case, you may want to continue your search and find a different loctician. Now, of course, that only applies if you're going to a professional to start your locks, but if you are well versed in your hair or you've practiced enough to know what you're doing, then by all means, you can start your locks yourself. Tip number 4. If your hair still has relaxed ends, this goes for anyone who's transitioning from a relaxer to natural hair. My tip, and this is just my personal opinion, is to go ahead and cut that relaxed hair, because the line of demarcation between where your natural hair meets that relaxed hair, it's fighting against itself because it's 2 different textures of hair going on. Now, if you're starting with, say for example, sister locks, it is not uncommon for someone with relaxed ends to keep their relaxed ends while having the sister locks until their hair grows out to the length they desire, and then cutting the relaxed hair. This is because the way that sister locks are started, the hair is instantly locked, so it's not going to slip or be interrupted by those relaxed ends. But if you're starting with more of a traditional lock with a comb coil or 2-strand twist, I would suggest going ahead and cutting those relaxed ends off. The hair will grow back. You need to cut it. Tip number 5 is about color. This is the perfect time to refresh your color before you start your locks. Now, once you start your locks, it is recommended that you wait until your hair is fully locked before you add color. Now, I say recommended because at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do regardless of what I or anyone else says. But it is recommended that while your hair is in that starter lock process, while it's budding, that you wait to add any color. So go ahead and get that color now, or just be prepared to wait about 6 to 12 months before you add additional color. And tip number 6, know that this is a process. Do not go into starter locks expecting your hair to look like mature locks. It's not going to happen. It is a process. I know it's cliche, but trust the process. It's going to take time to get your final outcome. But know that this is a process, this is a journey, and it requires patience. Also, make sure that starting your locks is your decision. And what I mean by that is make sure that you're only doing this because you really want to do this. Not because someone told you you would look nice with locks, not because your significant other has locks and so maybe I should get locks too. No, make sure that this is exactly what you want to do with your hair. You will enjoy the journey much more if you are doing this for you. And a bonus tip, once you start your locks, you probably have hair products that you can no longer use because your hair is no longer in a loose format. It is recommended that you not use heavy creams or butters on your locks. It is recommended that you keep your products nice and light. If you have a lot of old products that you're no longer going to be using, feel free to donate those to a family member or a friend or even to a women's shelter. But do not throw those perfectly good products away. Now, when I say donate products, I do not mean products that only have a little teeny tiny drop left in the jar, okay? We're talking about products that you still have about half to almost full and that are still in great condition. Wipe them down, donate them to a women's shelter because they need hair products as well. So not only have you recycled products as opposed to throwing them away, but you also help someone else that may be in need. So that's it, guys. Those are my tips for things that you should be doing to your hair before you start your locks. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2 and 3 of this starter lock series. See you in the next video.